Hello and welcome. I'm a hotel AI expert, and I'm really pleased to welcome all of you, the students of Europe Hotel School, to your online learning journey. Today, we're going to dive into a really fascinating part of the hotel industry, one that, honestly, is ripe for a revolution. It's an area that holds the key to unlocking massive profits, but for decades, it's been kind of stuck in the past. So, let's get into it.
Okay, so think about the modern hotel experience for a second. Booking a room for yourself, it's completely seamless. A couple of taps on your phone, and boom, you're confirmed. It takes what, 2 minutes? But what happens when you try to book a meeting room for your team? Well, suddenly the experience is night and day. You're thrown into this crazy waiting game that can last up to 48 hours just to get a price quote. In a world where we expect everything instantly, this massive disconnect, it's a huge problem.
So why does this matter so much? Why is that wait a big deal? Well, because it's happening in one of the most profitable parts of the entire hotel business, the MICE sector. And that stands for meetings, incentives, conferences, and exhibitions. This is a massive, massive source of profit for hotels. But for so many of them, it's a surprisingly inefficient and underdeveloped part of their operation.
In fact, there's a great quote that describes MICE as the final frontier of profit engineering. And that's such a powerful way to put it, right? It just frames the opportunity perfectly. We've spent decades fine-tuning and optimizing every last dollar out of our guest rooms, but the whole function space side of the business has been left behind, holding all this incredible untapped potential.
So what is at the heart of this problem? Well, to put it simply, the booking process for meetings and events is just archaic. It honestly feels like it's stuck in 1999, completely out of sync with how we do pretty much everything else today. Let's take a closer look at what this outdated process actually looks like.
The whole thing is just shockingly manual. First, a client sends in what's called a request for proposal, an RFP. Then a sales manager has to literally pull out paper diaries or click through these clunky old calendars just to check availability. Then they have to prepare a quote, maybe wait for a manager's approval, and then finally send it back. We're not talking about minutes here, we're talking about days.
48 hours. Let that sink in for a second. That is the critical pain point. In that time, your potential client has already looked up your competitors, they've gotten other quotes, and you know what? They've probably booked with someone else. This delay isn't just a minor inconvenience, it is a direct line to lost revenue.
This whole delay creates what we call a sales bottleneck. It's exactly what it sounds like, a choke point, where the entire process just grinds to a halt. It's like a traffic jam for your business. Potential customers get stuck, they get impatient, and they just find another route. Your sales team is trying to push business through, but the old system is holding everything back.
So how do we break this bottleneck? How do we fix this? Well, the solution, and this will be no surprise, is technology. We are now seeing the rise of these incredibly powerful AI co-pilots, tools designed specifically to bring that instant, seamless experience of booking a guest room into the world of group sales.
And the new reality this creates is just staggering. I mean, look at the difference. An online inquiry comes in. The AI instantly checks real-time availability. It calculates a price based on the hotel's own preset rules. And it generates and sends a professional proposal. A process that took up to 48 hours now happens in a matter of seconds. It's a total game changer.
The impact of this shift is, well, it's profound. And it's not just about being faster for the sake of being faster. It's about being smarter. It's about being more strategic. When you implement this kind of AI technology, you create real, tangible benefits across speed, strategy, and, of course, your sales performance.
One of the biggest advantages right away is unlocking what we call the small MIC market. You know, these are the smaller meetings, maybe for 10, 15, 20 people. Historically, they've just been too much of a hassle, too low value to justify all that administrative time. But with AI, these bookings can be completely automated. The client can see the availability, book it, and pay for it instantly, just like a hotel room. This captures an entire chunk of business that was pretty much being ignored before.
Now, it's absolutely crucial to understand this is not about replacing your sales team, it is about empowering them. By automating all the small, repetitive, time-consuming inquiries, AI frees up your skilled salespeople to focus on what they do best, negotiating those large, complex, high-value events that really need a human connection and some strategic thinking.
But the AI goes way beyond just speed. It brings real strategy to the table. It allows for something called yield management for space. Now, for decades, we've used yield management to dynamically price our guest rooms based on demand, right? This is the exact same principle. But now we're applying it to our most valuable physical spaces, our ballrooms, our boardrooms, our meeting rooms.
So let's see what that looks like in practice. The AI knows that, say, a Tuesday is typically a quiet day, so it can proactively offer a discounted half-day package to attract some business it might not have gotten otherwise. But it also knows that Thursday is a super high-demand day, so it will hold that same space for a much more profitable full-day booking that includes catering. This is dynamic, intelligent pricing in action.
And when you combine those instant responses with that kind of strategic pricing, you really start to see the full picture come together. You're basically completing the hotel's entire profit puzzle. You're moving beyond just room revenue to this holistic strategy where every single part of the property is optimized to earn its keep. And this is exactly why it's called the final piece of the profit engineering puzzle. By digitizing this MICE journey, you are connecting the last major, unoptimized revenue center into your total hotel strategy. You're making sure the entire operation is working together to maximize every last bit of profit.
So what's the total impact when you put it all together? Well, it's huge. You get higher conversion rates, obviously, because you're the first one to respond. Your administrative costs plummet because you're automating all those repetitive tasks. You maximize revenue from every single square meter through smart, dynamic pricing. And, maybe most importantly, your client satisfaction goes through the roof because you're finally giving them a modern, easy, seamless experience.
So as we wrap up, I want to leave you with a question to carry forward into your careers. In the hotels that you will one day lead and manage, is every single square meter working its absolute hardest to generate revenue? Because with the tools that are now available, you have the power to make sure that the answer to that question is always yes.